A deep dive into reading is a portable refuge. Why does an essay collection about reading still captivate hearts across a century? William Somerset Maugham, a giant of British literature, opens a door to an inner sanctuary with reading is a portable refuge. This is not just a book about books. It's a conversation about life, emotions, and wisdom, offering a quiet corner in a noisy world. Maugham, as a novelist, playwright, and essayist, crafts this collection filled with personal experiences and literary insights. He likens reading to a portable refuge, a tribute to literature and a profound reflection on the human spirit. Through intimate prose, he shares how reading helped him escape life's hardships, finding solace and a path to growth. This work resonates not only with literature lovers, but also with anyone seeking meaning in life. Today, let's step into Maugham's world of words to explore how reading becomes a shelter from life's storms. Maugham's literary life and historical context. William Somerset Maugham was born in 1874 in Paris, where his father served as a lawyer at the British Embassy. His mother's early death from tuberculosis left young Maugham to grow up in solitude. At King's School in London, he faced mockery for his stammer, and books became his haven from reality. In his memoir, The Summing Up, Maugham recalls, "Books were my childhood friends. They never mocked my flaws." This experience shapes the emotional tone of reading is a portable refuge, framing reading as a spiritual sanctuary. The late 19th to early 20th century saw Britain transition from the Victorian era to the Edwardian period. The Industrial Revolution brought prosperity, but also entrenched social hierarchies, colonial unrest, and spiritual disorientation. Maugham's career spanned both world wars, witnessing war's devastation, the decline of empires, and the rise of modernism. This backdrop imbues his essays with keen insights into human complexity. He shares his love for classics like Shakespeare and Dickens while reflecting on how reading fosters inner peace amid turmoil. During World War I, as a Red Cross volunteer, Maugham experienced the horrors of battlefield hospitals. Carrying a copy of Don Quixote, he found solace under candlelight, escaping the sounds of war. He writes, "Amid gunfire, Cervantes' words brought me a strange calm." This conviction that reading is not just leisure but a force against life's hardships defines his essays. Maugham's literary achievements lend authority to his reflections. Known for novels like Of Human Bondage and The Moon and Sixpence, his essays showcase sharp observation and fluid prose. He notes how financial struggles led him to abandon medicine for writing, with reading fueling his inspiration and courage. For instance, Balzac's novels taught him to craft vivid psychological portraits. Maugham's reading not only shaped his style but deepened his thoughts on literature's societal role. Reading Thomas Hardy's Tess of the D'Urbervilles moved him with its critique of social injustice, influencing his own Of Human Bondage. Hardy's tragic narratives showed him literature's power to awaken social awareness. In post-war London's literary salons, he saw young writers inspired by Hardy to advocate for reform. This social impact led Maugham to view reading as a bridge between individual and collective experience. His travels in Asia and the South Pacific added a unique perspective to his essays. Reading works like Japan's The Tale of Genji revealed universal human connections across cultures. He writes, "Books let me find familiar souls in foreign lands." This cross-cultural reading reinforced his belief that books are both an escape and a key to understanding the world. This from reader to writer infuses his essays with heartfelt conviction. Why reading is a refuge. Maugham's metaphor of reading as a refuge is both poetic and profound. He believes reading frees us from reality's constraints, entering a world shaped by words. In his essay on the pleasure of reading, reading is a portable refuge, accessible anytime, anywhere, no ticket or appointment needed. This simple yet powerful statement captures reading's unique value, a low-cost, high-reward source of solace. Take Elizabeth Barrett Browning, the 19th century poet confined by illness. Though bedridden, her soul soared through Shakespeare and Dante's poetry. Her sonnets from the Portuguese express gratitude for literature, as she wrote, "Books gave me freedom in my pain." Maugham shares similar stories, emphasizing how reading offers intellectual freedom despite physical limits. He adds that books provide a window for the marginalized. In the 19th century, workers found resonance in Dickens' novels, sparking hope amid hardship. This social function was vital in Maugham's era, as workers' movements grew. Through reading Thomas Carlyle's Past and Present, workers found courage to resist oppression, seeing their struggles as part of a larger narrative. Maugham notes that reading not only shelters individuals but can inspire collective action. He recalls a wounded soldier in a wartime hospital who found hope in Byron's poetry, sharing verses to uplift his comrades. Maugham writes, "A book can be a lamp, lighting the way for many." This collective experience underscores his belief in books as sparks of hope. Reading's refuge also lies in its space for self-reflection. Maugham sees reading as a dialogue with oneself, a way to process emotions and life. Reading Charlotte Brant's Jane Eyre revealed a woman's resilience, mirroring his own struggles with loneliness. He writes, "A good book is a mirror, reflecting your inner self." This introspective power makes reading a unique form of therapy. Maugham shares how Montaigne's essays taught him to confront his flaws, likening Montaigne's words to a friend's candid conversation. Similarly, poet John Keats found transcendence in Spenser's The Faerie Queene during illness, writing, "Poetry gave me eternity amid pain." Maugham stresses that reading's introspective role helps us accept our imperfections. He recommends books like Montaigne or Samuel Johnson's essays for emotional clarity, offering wisdom to find order in chaos. This therapeutic role helps readers navigate life's lows. Marie Curie, the Nobel laureate, found courage in Flaubert's Madame Bovary after her husband's death, embracing human complexity. Maugham's essays echo this. Reading is both an escape and a way to face reality. This dual role makes the refuge a warm yet resilient image. The charm of literature and the art of choosing books. Maugham not only praises reading, but offers practical advice on selecting books. He rejects blindly following bestsellers or must-read classics, urging readers to choose based on personal interest and mood. In On Choosing Books, he writes, "A good book should be a friend, resonating with your soul, not a burden imposed on you." This revolutionary in the Victorian era, when readers felt bound by classic lists. Maugham shares how he chose different books at various life stages. As a youth, he devoured Dickens' vivid stories. In midlife, he sought Schopenhauer's philosophical answers. In later years, he cherished concise poetry and essays. He advises picking books to match emotions like Gibbon's humor for low moments or Nietzsche's depth for confusion. This reflects his view that a book's value lies in its emotional connection to the reader. Virginia Woolf's experience supports this. While writing Mrs. Dalloway, she read Jane Austen's witty novels to ease stress, finding order in their restraint. Maugham notes that reading's charm lies in its resonance with the reader's current state. Reading David Copperfield during financial struggles, he drew optimism from Dickens' spirit. He also preferred short stories or essays under pressure, praising Chekhov's concise yet profound narratives. He writes, "Chekhov's stories are like a cup of tea, simple yet lingering." This for brevity shaped his own work, like the short story collection The Trembling of a Leaf. Maugham encourages exploring global literature to broaden perspectives. Reading Maupassant taught him to express complex emotions simply, while India's Mahabharata inspired deeper storytelling. He warns against reading as a chore, advocating for abandoning unenjoyable books. He writes, "If a book feels painful, set it aside and find one that brings joy." This advice resonates today, as modern readers often feel pressured by must-read lists. John Steinbeck, for instance, abandoned Kant's dense philosophy for Mark Twain's lively novels, sparking his creativity. Maugham's guidance reminds us that reading is for pleasure and growth, not self-torment. How reading shapes character. Maugham believes reading is more than a refuge, it shapes character. Books broaden perspectives, fostering empathy and critical thinking. Reading Dostoevsky's The Brothers Karamazov taught him to embrace human flaws with compassion. He writes, "Good literature is a school, teaching you to understand others and yourself." Nelson Mandela's 27 years in prison illustrate this, as reading Shakespeare and Tolstoy kept him resilient. Mandela noted that Julius Caesar deepened his thoughts on power and betrayal, strengthening his convictions. Maugham echoes this: great books entertain and improve us. Reading also hones critical thinking. In On the Art of Reading, Maugham advises, the true art of reading is to immerse yourself while staying sharp. Reading Rousseau's The Social Contract, he admired its idealism but questioned its optimism, fostering independent thought. Anthropologist Margaret Mead, inspired by Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, challenged gender norms, shaping her cultural theories. Maugham encourages questioning historical texts to understand authors' biases. Reading also builds empathy through diverse experiences. Chinese poet Du Fu's war-torn verses taught Maugham to care for others' suffering, influencing his wartime charity work. Reading Plutarch's parallel lives offered lessons from historical figures like Alexander the Great, balancing triumphs with flaws. Philosopher Bertrand Russell, inspired by Plutarch, reflected on power and morality, writing, "History taught me humility." Maugham suggests historical and biographical reading to cultivate wisdom and tolerance. This empathy makes reading a moral practice, fostering humanity in complex societies. Reading's interplay with life. Maugham places reading in a broader life context, seeing it as both an escape and a tool to face reality. In On Books and Life, he writes, "Books teach us how to live, face pain and joy, and find order in chaos." Theodore Roosevelt, grieving his wife and mother, found resilience in Mark Twain and Greek epics. Maugham, too, drew humor and strength from Austen's Pride and Prejudice during financial hardship. Reading fosters connections across time and space. Chinese poet Li Bai's quiet night thoughts stirred Maugham's homesickness abroad. In wartime London, discussing Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities forged a friendship with a stranger. He writes, "Books make strangers friends through shared emotions." Author Paul Auster found similar bonds discussing Kafka's Metamorphosis. Reading guides life's stages, Maugham notes. Victor Hugo's Les Miserables taught him to balance ideals and reality, while Tolstoy's War and Peace prompted reflections on fate. He writes, "Every book arrives at the right moment, guiding you through life's fog." Poetry, like Wordsworth's The Prelude, offered solace during midlife crises, inspiring reevaluation. George Eliot, while writing Middlemarch, found courage in Milton's Paradise Lost. Maugham recommends poetry for emotional moments, as its intensity touches the soul. Reading's social significance and modern relevance. Though written in the early 20th century, Maugham's insights remain relevant. In today's information-overloaded digital age, reading's refuge is especially vital. Maugham notes that reading pulls us from daily noise into a deeper world. Japanese author Haruki Murakami, in What I Talk About When I Talk About Running, credits morning readings of Thomas Mann's The Magic Mountain for inner calm. Maugham advises daily reading, even briefly, to nourish the soul. Reading's social role lies in spreading ideas and values. Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's fueled the abolitionist movement by shifting public sentiment. Maugham writes, "A book can spark a revolution by changing minds." Malala Yousafzai's advocacy for girls' education through reading and writing echoes this. Reading fosters cultural diversity and tolerance. Maugham's encounter with Tagore's Gitanjali opened him to a different spiritual world. Today, UNESCO promotes global literature to encourage cross-cultural understanding. Maugham's ideas inspire redefining reading's role in the digital age. Reading Dante's Divine Comedy connected him to medieval Europe's spirit, showing literature's role in shaping values. Scholar Yuval Noah Harari drew on Dante in Sapiens to explore faith and culture. Maugham writes, "Books are civilization's memory, showing us where we came from." Works like Charlotte Perkins Gilman's The Yellow Wallpaper advanced the 19th century women's movement. Reading bridges individuals and societies, fostering harmony. Maugham's views adapt to digital formats like e-books and audiobooks. He writes, "Reading's essence lies not in the medium but in your dialogue with the text." Neil Gaiman, reading classics on e-books, finds the same awe as with print. Maugham's ideas affirm reading as a timeless connection to the soul. Reading, an eternal refuge. Reading is a Portable Refuge is more than an essay collection. It's a letter to every soul. Maugham's experiences and insights show books as shelters, character builders, and bridges across time. He shares not just reading's joys but practical wisdom on choosing books and growing through them. As he concludes, reading is an art, letting you experience infinite possibilities in a finite life. Reading sparks creativity, as Maugham learned from Shakespeare's plays in crafting complex characters. He writes, "Shakespeare's words are a treasure trove, always offering new discoveries." James Joyce, inspired by Shakespeare and Homer's Odyssey, reshaped the world in Ulysses. Reading Baudelaire's Flowers of Evil taught Maugham to find poetry in the everyday. He writes, "A good book lets you see the world anew." This rediscovery of beauty makes reading a nurturing art. From Maugham in wartime to Barrett Browning on her sickbed, to us today, reading remains a portable refuge. It offers calm in chaos, direction in confusion, and connection in loneliness. Open a book, enter Maugham's refuge, and find your spiritual home. No matter how the world changes, reading remains our faithful friend, guiding us through every storm. May we all find our refuge in reading, discovering possibilities in the world of words.